everybody, my name's Brenda and welcome to TangleBreak. I created TangleBreak to take a break from my day to relax and draw. So thank you for joining me, and I hope that TangleBreak will give you a relaxing break from your day too. We'll be using the 8 basic steps of the Zentangle Method. Step number 1 is gratitude and appreciation. I'm thankful for the time that we have together to relax and draw. And the supplies that we're going to use today are a Micron 08 black pen, a pencil, a Tortillon, and a 3.5-inch white Zentangle tile. So, take a deep breath and let's get started. So grab your tile and your pen, and step 2 is making the corner dots. Step 3 is the border. Step 4 is the string, and today, since we're working with fragments, we're going to make a grid. So go to the middle and draw a line separating the box into 2 halves, and then separate each side again. Then turn your tile, and we're going to do the same thing this side. Divide it in half, and then each side in half. Okay, step 5 is the tangle, and we're going to work on 2 fragments today. Fragment Z3 and A3. So I'm going to start up here at the top with Z3, and I'm just going to make an oval in this square, and then I'm going to go and make an S shape. So I'm going to start at the top, retracing my line, and then coming in and around, and then going to the bottom with like a curved S. So I'm going to skip a box and do it again. And so I'm going to start at the top and just do a slight S and coming down the bottom. I'm going to skip a box and do the same thing. Okay, now I'm going to do the S shape, starting at the top, retracing my line, making the S down to the bottom, skip a box. So we're alternating boxes to put in Z3. And I like doing the same strokes over and over, and then we'll go back and add more to each one to finish it off. So we're skipping the box and coming down here. Every other box, put in your S shape, starting at the top, around, and then in. And then one more on this row. And then the bottom row, 2 left. And the last one. Put in your orb and then your S shape. Okay, that's the first part of it. So now I'm going to go back to the top and make it look more like a leaf. So I'm putting in a line and then 2 or 3 dots, whatever fits in your space. So going up and going down. I'm starting at the narrowest half, and then where it's broader is where I'm putting the dots. So 2 dots or 3 dots, whatever fits your space. Just going back and forth. And it gives it more movement. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the first one. And just fill in the area around the orb. So just relax and take this time to color or ink in the area around each orb. I find this really relaxing, especially since we've done all the drawing for this one, just to go fill it in. And then we'll work on fragment A3 in the white boxes. And then we'll pull it all together at the end when we shade, which makes this fragment right here just pop. I love the shading. Okay, so we finished drawing Z3, so let's go ahead and do A3, fragment A3 in all the white boxes. So we're going to start in this box right here. We're just going to do a curved line from corner to corner, bottom left to top right, and then we're going to draw underneath, going to the opposite corners and going underneath what we just drew. And that's the basic drawing. And then I'm going to go ahead and just ink it in. And to me, this is making the overall picture like a, it reminds me of tic-tac-toe, bringing back my childhood memories. That's what it reminds me of, X's and O's. Okay, we're going to do the same one on the end here. So the same direction, going from bottom left to top right, and then going underneath from top left to bottom right, and then fill in the space around it. Okay, now on the next row, we're going to do it in the opposite direction. So we're going to go from top left to bottom right is going to be the one on top. And then we'll draw underneath from the bottom left to the top right. And then when we're finished, it'll give it a weaving effect on fragment A3. And so then just fill it in around the part you just drew. And then we're going to go to the next box and do it in this same direction. Each row will alternate. So on this one right here, we're going to do it again. From the top left to the bottom right is on top. And then going from bottom left to top right is underneath. And then fill in around and when we shade it, it'll really emphasize on top and on bottom. And then as you look across your tile, it'll look like it's going up and down and up and down, alternating. Okay, so now we're going to alternate again. Bottom left to top right is going to be on top, and then underneath is top left to bottom right, and then ink in around it. Is this reminding any of you of tic-tac-toe? It definitely reminds me of tic-tac-toe. All right, let's do this again. Bottom left to top right is on top. Top left to bottom right is underneath. And then fill it in. Okay, now for the bottom row, we're going to alternate again. Top left to bottom right is going to be on top. And then go from the bottom left to the top right is underneath. And then fill it in. Okay, turn your tile to make it easier. Just easier to color it in on this side. And your last one, we're going to do the same as that one. Top left to bottom right is on top. And then bottom left to top right is underneath. And then fill it in. Okay, we have finished drawing A3 and Z3. So now it's time to shade. Grab your pencil. And I always love this part. I'm going to go on the right side of the S shape that we made. On the right side of the S shape. Putting it down pretty dark. And then we're going to spread it out and watch the magic of the shading appear. Okay, just keep going to each one, shading in the right side on the outside of the S shape, the right outside edge of the S shape. Okay, so now grab your Tortillon and we're going to spread it out. And I like doing these little circular motions, and look how it just makes it pop. It looks like it's sort of wrapped, like a ball that's wrapped with two little leaves. I love the shading on this. And I'm just doing circular motions to bring the pencil lead toward the middle. I love that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and shade in A3 and grab your pencil, and where it goes over top, that's where I'm putting in the pencil lead. So the one that's underneath will get the pencil lead or the shading, and then we'll spread that out in a minute to get the full effect. So going back and forth on the underneath one that we did. Okay, so now go ahead and grab your Tortillon, and we're going to spread this. And I'm doing my little circular motions again. I just love that look. And it really makes it look over and under when you've done the shading. Shading just brings it to life. I love the magic of shading. I'm loving this. Okay, so now the shading is done. It's time for step 7, initial and sign. Put down your initials or your chop. Turn it over on the back and sign your name. And this is TangleBreak 2026. And Fragments A3 and Z3. And step 8 is appreciate again. I'm thankful for the time that we had our break today, and I love how this turned out. Like I said, reminds me of tic-tac-toe. So I hope that you enjoyed your break, and I will see you next time on TangleBreak. Bye for now.